Nadszedł czas zmiany, przejścia do prawdziwego działania wszechświata. I nadszedł czas, aby zrozumieć, że używamy stanu materii, by osiągnąć poziom zrozumienia duszy człowieka. Teraz rozumiesz, być może, dlaczego Kreator wysłał swoich posłańców w imię tego, co miałeś. To oni przynoszą uszy, aby można było ich użyć, gdy nadejdzie czas Mesjasza. Mogę nauczyć duszę i przesłanie. Nie by się przeciwstawiać, ale poprzez ich zrozumienie, przez tych, którzy stali się Mesjaszami, aby dawać ze swoich dusz, aby ich elewować. Zadanie stało się łatwe. Szkoła jest tutaj i uczniowie są tutaj w oddaniu. Wtedy nie będzie żadnej walki między tym, co nazywają muzułmanami, a chrześcijanami. Baranek i lew będą jeść i spać w tym samym gnieździe. Chrześcijanie i muzułmanie będą spać i modlić się w meczecie, w tym samym kościele, w imię ich dusz, nie w imię religii, które są używane do tworzenia tak wielu konfliktów, dla korzyści tych, którzy byli hiperaktywnymi dziećmi. Nadszedł czas, czas zmian jest tutaj. I jak powiedziałem, moje życzenie jest moim rozkazem. Jeśli pragniesz ujrzeć pokój, droga pokoju jest wyłożona bardzo wyraźnie. To dusza świadomości zbiorowej. Poprzez dawanie stworzy tą pozycję zmiany. Nic innego. W duszy człowieka nie ma długopisu. Jestem pewien, że po wejściu do społeczności uniwersalnej nigdy nie zobaczysz niczego zapisanego, ale równowagę pól duszy egzystencji. Staraj się być na tyle pokornym, aby nie stać się aroganckim w mocy, którą zrozumiałeś i posiadłeś. Inaczej wpadniesz w tą samą ścieżkę kościoła i meczetu. To jest to, co obiecaliśmy i to właśnie dostarczyliśmy. Musimy zrozumieć działanie duszy i musimy zrozumieć, że dusza człowieka jest gwiazdą w kosmosie wszechświata. Jeśli porównamy duszę człowieka i tak wielu nas, 7 miliardów w jednym zbiorze, Ziemia jest jak galaktyka z tak wieloma gwiazdami. Kiedy patrzymy w głąb wszechświata, widzimy galaktyki z setkami milionów gwiazd. Podobnie jest z planetą Ziemią. Niesie 7 miliardów pięknych gwiazd, które są duszą człowieka. Niesie z sobą duszę tak wielu trylionów zwierząt, roślin i wszystkiego innego. Jeśli więc patrzą ci, którzy nie widzą fizyczności Ziemi i jej zawartości, co widzą? Widzą galaktykę z wielką ilością pięknych, świecących świateł. Każda według swojej siły. Każda zgodnie ze swoją pozycją. Niemowlę ma piękną duszę, podobnie jak staruszek. Dla tych niefizycznych, którzy nie widzą fizycznego wymiaru tej planety, ale widzą siłę pola, jesteśmy gromadami gwiazd. Ludzka rasa, każda pojedyncza dusza, nikt z daleka nie widzi. To jest dusza rybaka, to jest dusza kosmologa, to jest dusza prezydenta. Wszystkie świecą bez względu na fizyczność. To jest magia. Oto co nowa nauka musi przynieść człowiekowi. Kiedy patrzymy przez naszą duszę, widzimy tylko gwiazdy w innych duszach. I to jest przełom. To jest zrozumienie. Na tym właśnie polegają te wszystkie nauki. Dojście do dojrzałości następnego poziomu, aby zrozumieć daleki kosmos. Wszechświat jest ostrygą dla tych dusz, które służą. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy do wejścia w kosmos. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy, aby stać się częścią uniwersalnej społeczności, która została obiecana. Nigdy nie obiecywałem wam nieba. Zawsze obiecywałem wam elewację człowieka, aby przyłączył się do rodziny. A teraz macie klucz. To wy musicie otworzyć drzwi, aby zrozumieć, że mogę elewować duszę tych ludzi lub milionów innych dusz, że fizyczne życie na tej planecie zmieni się. Wtedy jestem godny bycia częścią społeczności uniwersalnej, by być, aby służyć, aby się rozwijać, by być tam, aby być częścią, że w cyklu życia wszechświata staje się w byciu częścią, staje się częścią totalności. Kiedy człowiek osiągnie ten punkt, pojawi się nowy wymiar w sile duszy człowieka, który jest poza wyobrażeniem zrozumienia życia fizycznego. To jest brama do otwarcia nowego życia w nowym wymiarze, co jest poza wyobrażeniem tego, co mogliście nazwać nowym początkiem, nowym cyklem, gdzie ten cykl niesie ze sobą źródło stworzenia życia we wszechświecie i unikosie. To jest elewacja duszy, aby służyć. Stała się kluczem. Nie tron życia fizycznego. Czas jest odpowiedni. Nadszedł czas, aby człowiek przeszedł przez ten proces. Witamy wszystkich na 426 warsztatach poszukiwaczy wiedzy w języku polskim. Dzisiaj mamy niedzielę, 27 grudnia 2020 roku, a tematem jest 359 warsztat. Jest to tłumaczenie tego warsztatu i czas przetłumaczony na dzisiaj to jest od 24 minut do godziny 49 minut, 48 sekund i od godziny 57, 37 sekund do 2 godzin 15, kawałek przerwy, od 2 godzin 20 do 2 godzin 27, kolejny fragment od 2 godzin 53 minut do 3 godzin i ostatni fragment Ostatni fragment będzie przy następnym spotkaniu, ponieważ jest to długi warsztat, także puścimy go następnym razem. Tak więc zapraszam do wysłuchania, obejrzenia, a po warsztacie zapraszam do zadawania pytań oraz do rozmów.
Keshe of the Keshe Foundation, and I believe he's ready to go with today's workshop. Hello, Mr. Keshe.
Yes, good morning, good day to you, as usual, wherever and whenever you listen to this series of Knowledge Seekers program from Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. We welcome you back to another session, 359, nearly more or less over 1,000 hours of teaching and publication of the new knowledge and breakthrough technologies. As we teach more, we learn more, and in that process we learn that we need to explain more, in some cases, things which are thought. I especially asked for the video to be played before the session because we have entered the cycle of last week, how to show we feed the soul of the man. How the soul of the man can feed the physicality, but understanding that the creation of the physicality itself is conditioned to its environment, to what is going to be manifested. There's no use creating meat and chicken when you're in another dimension that it can never take shape and it cannot carry its energy to sustain life. We learn in the process in how we have to understand the totality of the knowledge, in how we can mix, add, and in a way create a combination of field forces that confirms existence as given point in time and position. In so many ways, we carry the soul, but the soul appears after departing the physicality, or when it is within the physicality condition, it can be replicated. It can manifest itself in a position other than its point of birth, other than its point of existence, where first it took to understand its position and its cycle. In so many ways, we have to understand what do we do with the new knowledge and how we come to interact with it, how we live within it, and how it lives within us now that we go through transmutation of elements and transmutation of energy and fields. In the last week teaching, we referred to a very simple point, that the punishment for those who misconduct, what shall be? And the question was raised by a knowledge seeker, that when we promise that there shall be no more punishment, the punishment doesn't come by us. The punishment comes by your own soul. We shall not punish, but your soul can restrain you from giving. The biggest punishment in the cycle of the creation is a cycle of love, to give unconditionally. And in a way, when you do wrong, when you become the creator of wars and conflicts, when you become creator of all sorts of things that you knowingly have taken part in, it does not allow you to give, because you have taken what is not yours and was agreed not to be yours. Life of another man, betrayal, adultery, killing, and everything else which is forbidden in the commands of the Creator. In this process, we understand the punishment is very simple. The punishment is like sitting and watching a man with two legs running, a man jumping, a man enjoying walking in the beautiful fields of the universe, and you with the legs, you can't go anywhere. You watch your legs, but you cannot participate. You watch you have the legs, but you cannot be part of it, even though you possess it. And the biggest punishment in the world of the creation is having the love, seeing how another man loves another person, another child, another wife, another woman, another man, another plant, and you cannot participate. You cannot give, but you know it's in your possession. Being handicapped, but not being able to give, to elevate yourself, is the biggest punishment you bring to yourself. In a way, we don't serve punishments anymore. It's you who have to be the judge of your own conduct. It's you who will understand the punishment is for you to be able to see the beauty of, but not to be part of. In so many ways, the knowledge of the man and the universe becomes a sight that you are not part of, but you are within. You see it in motion. You see how one can love another and how give nourishment to another with loving, and you cannot do. You possess it, but you cannot give. You understand it, but you're just a bypasser and a witness to the whole development of the cycle. In a way, by not being able to give, to create with the interaction of the other souls fields, the light to show your beauty, you become dark. You become a spot of non-existence, and in a way, it's the point of creation without understanding. You don't become absorber of others because you cannot receive to give. In a way, you stagnate. This is the biggest punishment, when you cannot love, when you cannot give. And in a way, this answers to the knowledge seeker. You choose how you shine. You choose, in a way, how you shine, to whom and how, and the way you do. The beauty of the creation is in loving. This is the only attribute of the Creator. So when we talk about the day of judgment, is how we judge the cycle of physicality to live. How much we lied, and how much we broke the first commandment, thou shalt not lie. This was the first commandment given to Moses and to all the prophets. Do not lie to your flock. Keep in the direction of the correctness and establish the cycle of life in a correct way through your soul. In so many ways, now we understand that there is no punishment except us not being able to be loved and to give love, to be able to elevate. We cannot elevate when you do not receive, and you cannot receive if the cup has no room to receive, as you have closed the lid, not the others. When you put the lid on and you close the gap, it's you who is deprived of receiving, and it's the you who is deprived to be drunk from, to give the pleasure of. So when you ask and you tell, there was a promise of no punishment, we do not punish. The punishment comes by you to yourself in a way, but knowing that you cannot give, that from it can be created those or be extended to those that will be part of you in it. In so many ways, when the mankind understands more of, he understands the punishment of the man and his soul is by the man himself in the true and the way of conduct. We are told, thou shalt not lie. Those who don't lie and those who get accused of lying are the accuser who has to bear that burden of lying itself. In a way, we have to live a correct life, and in conduct, we submit the correct understanding. And it's for the souls to judge. It's the souls who adjust themselves to accommodate what the cycle of life does not matter in what condition and in what dimension. One has to understand that the total strength of the fields of the universe and unicos is constant. It's all part of the process of the fields of the Creator. So it cannot be any different. What diminishes from one point will appear in another. One reduces in the strength in one, will appear another strength in another. So in a way, it's how we transfer this energy for the beauty of the Creator to shine. Is the responsibility of the creation of the suns which come from the soul of the man. In a way, we shine according to the strength we create from the strength we receive from the Creator. And in so many ways, as I said, we are part of the process. We are part of understanding the totality. And in a way, would you like to see any part of your Creator to suffer with the injury? Where you're there, you cannot do nothing to increase or show His beauty. In a way, when we are not shining, we are not there to show the beauty of the Creator. So mankind understands very simply, the punishment comes that it cannot be seen to be part of. Not only not to be loved, but not to be shown to be part of the creation and the Creator. And that's the biggest punishment a man can carry for himself. Just to be there, non-existent. To be there, not to be shown. To be there, not to be able to love, even knowing the beauty of the love. In so many ways, the knowledge seekers find one way. And in that process, they find more. And in so many ways, the extent and extension of the life carries on. As I said, always, when you ask and you're given, you're not stolen from, or you do not steal. It's the job of the giver who has to have the understanding of what he gives, to extent of the extension of the love that it can be given. And then what is given is the right of the soul to use, to extend, and to be used in other dimensions and directions. I made man in the image of myself. In so many ways, I am a soul, and through creation of the soul, I show my beauty and my attributes. In so many ways, mankind comes to one point. What's the purpose of life? And in that process, it's for every individual to understand the process and understand what is their functionality and the presence in the position of created and creation, and nobody else's. In the last week teaching, we opened a new structure of life for man to be able to feed his soul, that his souls can feed the soul of his creation, the soul of his physicality. In a way, when you choose the soul to manifest yourself in the dimension of the position and time, in the dimension of the matter state, or whatever creates man to be of, in any position universe, is not necessarily only the dimension of the soul of the man and the dimension of the soul of physicality, of the vertical, horizontal, or matter state. There are other states of the soul and the creation and life in the universe that man is not still aware of. The dimension of the interaction of the souls and the creation of life through themselves. In a way, it's a point of transition when the man understands his soul is just part of the creation of the totality of his own existence. What does this mean? It means through our soul, we realize that we are part of totality of the other souls. We are fraction within a fraction of this existence. And in so many ways, how we conduct, how we develop that soul to confirm its existence in physicality will take a different meaning. In a way, you can create a dimension to create the soul of your soul in the dimension of matter state, or you decide to manifest yourself using other souls to manifest yourself in the dimension of the plant or animal or any creatures in the universe. So when we saw the picture of the soul in the center and the other souls around it, is the transmutation between the two and all three. And maybe if one understands more, the fifth and the sixth dimension in the interaction of the fields of the creation. What we call a mass which comes from interaction of the fields of the gravitational and magnetical, and then the mass in interaction with another magnetical gravitational becomes a weight in its fifth dimension, in its sixth dimension. So the soul of the man has the same responsibility and opportunity to use the interaction of the fields of the others to manifest itself in any position and dimension of physicality it likes. It's the responsibility of the soul of the man to decide and to what it gives the position of serving in a dimension of existence. In a way, if you understand, it's very simple. Even a pebble has soul, even an atom has soul. And in that process, mankind has to understand that even the soul of an atom decides how it manifests itself and where it manifests itself. And in the dimension of the strength of its existence, it decides to be in the cell of an animal, kidney or liver according to its strength. It's not that it's put there and created to be. It's there because it has chosen to be. This is the beauty of the creation, once the man understands. When we see the structure of the, what we call the soul of the man and the soul of the physicality of the matter, or soul, or understanding of the totality, we come to understand one truth. Man has the ability to be able to take through the transmutation of the fields in both directions. Be it the soul of the man, souls of physicality of the matter, or horizontal or vertical. In so many ways, now we understand this, it's very easy for us to add another dimension to the knowledge of the creation, which man needs to become the passenger of the universe. In so many ways, we look at 3 dimensions. But if you look at other structures of what we call the 5 stack cups, this should teach you another dimension and another position. In a way, if you take the soul of the earth and you understood the same in the dimension of the plant or whatever, by adding inertia to it, depending on the horizontal or the vertical or the matter state, you can dictate how you want to manifest, in what position and what direction. If you change now the same thing, you bring the soul of the inertia of the animal, and then you decide the position of the soul of a destined planet, you shall travel to that point, or at least to be able to see the physical matter in that position and time and space. To understand the totality of the knowledge, now you understand, you have to learn the condition of what we gave to you as a 5 stack. And in creating each one as a center, one can lead to the others and create a dimension of transmutation through the energy levels to the dynamic souls, and not necessarily in a way that the man has chosen the donkey and the car and the rest. These are only field strength dependent and nothing more. So if, for example, you want to appear in the middle of the ocean where the whales live and watch them living and enjoy their presence, you can create the gravitational magnetic field of the place in the inertia and in the plasma of the soul of the planet and the presence of your soul. And you shall manifest there to see it, to see the soul of the whale. And if you can add the strength of the soul of physicality and the physicality, you shall appear maybe like another whale or another dimension that you can enjoy, and that become part of your memory and the level of existence for you. If one understands the operation of all the 5 levels of dimension, as man knows up to now, you are free to travel without dimension of the physicality from one to another through transmutation of the energy fields and not matter. This is the beginning of the teachings. This is the beginning of for you to start testing. I've seen many knowledge seekers just follow what we said. For example, I see them to put a cup and maybe 3 is flat. Why 3? What about the inertia of the desert point you want to learn as a combination of the mixtures of materials? This now allows you to add more to get the exact position, to get the exact destination where you want to land. You got to remember, the universe is a composite field strength and not singularity. It's you who can decide, if you bring the energy and the inertia together, how and where you manifest yourself. Knowledge seekers have to understand, as we said before, to move from dimension of the physicality into dimension of fields and energies, that they can decide the point of manifestation of physicality. How many times you wish you were a dove? How many times you wish you were a flower? How many times you wish you could have been the scenery and what you possess as a diamond on your finger. Now, through transmutation of the energies, mankind can do this. And being watched to be enjoyed by the other souls, that this is the beauty of me, this is how I want to manifest myself, that you enjoy my presence. Transmutation of the energy and fields through the soul of the man does not mean that you become the creator of another sun, that you create others. You can do the same by becoming a flower to give pleasure to the others but what you emit. This is the beauty of understanding the totality. I want to be a rose. I want to be a pebble for so many days and so many years to the strength of the man, and then I want to be another. This is how, as the messengers of the Creator, we travel the span of the universe. By the wish of our soul, we manifest ourselves in different dimensions and positions, and we take our time. We walk the cities, and from one city we live as an old man, and we manifest ourselves as a new birth, as we take the dimension of physicality, but not the strength of the soul. In so many ways, mankind in totality has to become aware of the new knowledge. Mankind has to become to understand, to see the strength of his soul. Up to now, this has not been open to mankind. We promised a new birth. We promised the beginning of a cycle from 21st of March in the cycle of the spring, which is the beginning of life in the northern hemisphere of this planet. This has been agreed by the men of universe, and Earth has been chosen the point, the time and the space for it. It's not a birth of totality. It's the beginning to set the seed for the new life, where man will achieve the knowledge of understanding how he can transmute from one to another, using the energy fields of the man, to create souls that can exist in both dimensions of the soul of physicality and the soul of the man. When you create the soul of the man, is the soul of the man created of only 3 elements? Or is it from the interaction of the collection of the other fields that leads to creation of his physicality that maintains the soul of the man? So what you need to know and what you need to add is what is in the future the total energy fields of all the content matters of the life on this planet, to be able to create the soul of the physicality, and not just only by 3. The 3 is just an example for you to understand the principle. The rest is for the man. If you understand in your cup what you want to be manifested as the soul of the cell, or as a soul of a cell of a liver, or as a soul of the bone structure, then you understand you need to change certain parameters in your cup. In a way, mankind, by transmutation of the fields, can build new organs without even touching the organ. Mankind can create the conditions when transplants and what we call life support becomes a fallacy of the past. Now mankind can develop every piece, every organ, every cell of the body of the man through the soul of the man. And maybe in the future, man will understand more. Maybe in the coming time, we understand how we have chosen to be ignorant to the true process of the creation. Maybe mankind needs the first level of push, that in that process, by creation of the soul and the soul of the physicality, mankind can decide its position at the time and the point and the place. You chose to be a stone in a certain position, and a stone stands for thousands of years to come. You choose to become a flower and last a few days for those who pass you to see your beauty as they're not there anymore. That's your prerogative. So mankind now has the ability to choose the time of the span of his existence in any dimension, but not in totality, will never change. We are part of the total mass and total energy of the universe, and stays constant as it comes from the totality of the structure of the creation of the Creator. Now, the question for man is one question. Why and how, the point and the time, and how that structure will bring that change to all of the creation, not only for the planet Earth, but for the totality of the creation across universe and unicos, as it was explained to a knowledge seeker very recently. In a way, it needs one soul to change the other souls and elevate the soul of totality. Go back to what one man said, the funny thing, when he changed one magnet, the other magnets change their position and their polarity according to the move. If you move the magnet, the others move. But if you turn the magnet and change its polarity, they all turn and change. Now you understand why it needs only one soul to change the rest of the souls and elevate them in the dimension of the creation in the universe and unicos. This is what we elevate. This is what is to come, and this is what to be shared by humanity and the rest of the creation and created across the universe and unicos in the months to come. As I said before, and you may understand more, it takes only one perfect soul to change the rest. In so many ways, by creation of the perfect soul, we change and move all to perfection. Where there should be no wars, where there should be no hunger, where we all receive the fields of the creation and we all become man of one creator. In so many ways, life becomes sweet. In so many ways, mankind is getting ready for elevation of his soul, that to understand the totality, there is a need for a change. There is a time and a place that the universal community will interact with humanity when the man reaches that point of maturity in science, in understanding and technology, and in being elevated to elevate his own soul to the ultimate goal, to be the lover, the one which gives unconditionally, and he shines through the beauty of the Creator. Maybe now the knowledge seekers who've been working on creating magraphs and everything else and understanding the field forces of it, gradually come to understand that they are the magraph themselves. They are the possessor of the three levels, both to give and to take. one in the level of the soul of the man, one in the level of the soul of the physicality of the man, and one in the physicality of the man. And in that way, this is how any creatures is manifested across the universe. In so many ways, the process of the creation and manifestation in dimension of physicality is not unique, but is common denominator to all those who live and have been created. In so many ways, now we understand if you extend the knowledge to the cup of man, to the cup of soul, to the cup of inertia, and be able to replicate in its strength, but not in a cup, man will appears in exact dimension and structure as the soul of the man wishes. In so many ways, knowledge seekers need to understand the process of the creation through the interaction of the fields, not ganses and the cups and macros. It'll take time for the whole culture of understanding of the science and technology of the creation for man to be much more clearer, as more knowledge seekers understand and be able to explain the field of the creation through the structure of the understanding of the physical and the matter state, which is clear and open to mankind. We have seen a number of knowledge seekers have started to explain the technology in the field term, not in ganses and the rest. We watched one of the first basic walks, the toddler walks in this process of teaching, in the American teaching last Sunday by Alex. In a coming time, this has to be expanded, that gradually the knowledge seekers move away from the process of understanding through the physical matters and ganses, and understand the process of the creation as their soul is already the creator itself. And they have to be able, in understanding that, to manifest and be able to transmute across through their souls. In the process of understanding and teaching, knowledge seekers will become more aware of the power of their soul. They come to understand how they can use it to feed themselves through the souls and the structure of the fields of the universe. If your soul has managed to create your physicality and maintain it, so it's for you to understand how to get to it, not through that process. You do not need to kill to live, to survive. In the process of teachings to come, in the coming weeks and months, we have opened and we will open more truth and more understanding about the knowledge of the creation through interaction of the fields and the process of life in the universe. The life in the universe is no different than the life on this planet. It's all the same, and it's beautiful. And it's beautiful when you see it and appreciate its beauty. In so many ways, mankind will come to understand, to create condition of fields and their interaction to lead to creation and feeding of the man itself, or to be able to support its soul to lead to the creation of perfect life. In so many ways, humanity will become more humane. And in so many ways, mankind comes to understand the truth about its own creation. When you make all these systems through ganses, understand the interaction of the fields. As I said very recently, in one of the very private teachings to what I call elite scientists of the Keshe Foundation, put the ganses and put your hand in between and make the wish. What you wish to see in the palm of your hand. Start with that. Because in this process, is understanding that the field of the soul of the man in interaction with the other fields will lead to the creation. Start what I call in a sandbox and test. Then understand and see the beauty of it. Create conditions of fields that the ganses are not important, but what is important is the fields which emit. And you start understanding how to work with the fields in the essence of creation. Try to put dynamic or simply static ganses and put your hand in and add the soul of physicality to it, or add to the soul of the man to it, that it can feed you. Don't forget, now your hand is the creation of the inertia. This is the limitation of the strength of your physicality. So the creation of matter by wish has to be no problem for those who carry the true essence of creation. I said that many times before. Put your hand out and wish gold, and there shall be gold in your hand. You need to start to learn. Make the ganses and the fields of them, and put your hand in between the fields and wish gold. And see if your true understanding of the gold is to serve humanity and others, you will receive gold. And it's there to satisfy your ego of creation. You shall not see nothing but the dust of shame. In so many ways, then you understand your true conduct. Then you understand how to be correct in the space of the universe. You understand how to behave and how to assess your position and the others. In a way, you learn if you lie to yourself. If I want gold to live a good life, but I say I want gold to help another. In so many ways, mankind, through these simple steps, will start understanding the true conduct, the true understanding of the true meaning. Those who come and will show the gold in the palm of their hand created, which is the true wish to give, to serve the others, or those who want to have, to make kingdoms out of it. They shall receive none, as there shall be no king. All men are equal in the sense of the creation of their soul. It's the man who decides how to manifest itself in a dimension of equality, not position and presence. In so many ways, many of you knowledge seekers pick up the inertia cup of materials you like, and in a way dictate, they want this to be part of my physicality, I want this to be part of a plant, and I want it in a matter state. And put your hand out and see if you can create. Put the cup there and see what you want in the matter state will manifest, because your soul has created the strength of inertia for that point and position. Then you will learn in the span of universe, you do not need systems to create matters and fields and food. Your soul become the creator of you, and through the interaction of its field and its strengths and its conversion with its environmental inertia. In a way, if you understand this, when you're to reach to a point in the universe that you want to manifest yourself, and your soul says, no, there is no conversion point. I cannot convert, as it will become the end of me. It becomes to put me in the danger. And you understand, you don't need the knowledge of the universe, but you understand the trust in the strength of the field of the soul of the man and its interaction with this environment. In a way, man does not need to carry the knowledge of universe, as the soul of the man in his strength and his position with the soul of physicality will understand with the interaction of the inertia and the field of the environment what and how it can manifest itself to guarantee this existence and its life. Now you understand in one process. With what we put to you as a 5 cups, we have shown you the key to entry to universal community, the access to elevation of your own soul, access to understanding the process of the creation. In so many ways, we have shown you the way that the creation is created and the way that the life cycle of the creation occurs and repeats itself in every corner of the universe. Many, many souls will never be enlightened as due to their own, what we call, misconduct. They hear and they see, but they will never achieve, as they have not understood the totality and process of the creation. As it says, "Thou shalt not lie. Thou shalt not lie to his soul." As the creation of the soul, the creation of the existence, the creation of the totality to be part of is sacrosanct. It will not change. It will stay the same and will be part of the process of the conversion of the fields of the universe to any matter, fields, energy, and being which the soul wishes to manifest itself or conduct itself through. Now is for the knowledge seekers to start playing in these sandboxes of cups, not only with 3, maybe with 10 different elements, but understanding the reason you create the cup and what is the purpose of. And then in the same process, try to create a condition of inertia within your soul, within the palm of your hand, that you shall see gold. Now, if you understood this, and you understand the expansion and the knowledge of the universe, one thing will become apparent to you, what we said many times before. You create the condition of the kidney of a man which is stented, or is not there, been taken out, and the kidney will be created in this position, because it's the wish of the soul. It's the position of the man who puts himself within the fields to create that dimension. So one will see in the future to come, man does not need open heart surgery, as man creates the perfect available fields for creation of the muscles of the heart, and that will take shape when the man is within it, with a wish of the soul, that the heart will function the way it was built to do. In this process, mankind will come to understand the process of interaction of the fields in appropriate measures, and strength can create anything in the cycle of creation. Would you need a kidney or a liver if you live in one point and dimension in the universe where there is no need for cycling and cleaning, as you receive the energy in the dimension of physicality, in the soul of physicality, in a form of energies that there are no waste created? Now you understand. The expansion of the knowledge we have opened up is for mankind and the rest of the universal community to understand the process and expand it to extend to create a perfect soul. A soul that does need nothing for it to survive, a soul that only gives to be able to be part of the creation of giving, to love, to serve, and in that process, it might need to exist in the dimension of physicality or the dimension of soul. But in fact, it surrenders itself to the totality of the wish of life in the universe. In a way, you become a shining star where you're asked, or you've been wishing, or you've been wished to be. In so many ways, you wish to have a dream of your mother who passed years ago. And if you can create the dimensional sincerity and understanding that is the same wish as the mother to see you, you shall see the mother and you become part of the mother to the point of the full satisfaction to be and enjoy the presence or the wish of the soul. Mankind will understand transmutation and transportation will become part of the life of the man in the dimension of the soul of the man. Then it comes to one point, would there be a need in the coming time to come? A need for a UFO a need for a flying object, a need for the means of communication as computers and the rest. As the man, in understanding the process of transmutation and transportation of the fields, will possess all within the structure of his physicality of his soul. Then he can do what he pleases to serve, and not for his own conduct and pleasure. Giving in so many ways is the totality of the understanding. Giving in so many ways is understanding the totality that it's me, and it's me which is part of the totality, to exist as part of the Creator. Mankind needs, in the process of understanding, to work, as we'll call it, in the sand back of the earth. Get in there and play in that sandbox and mix the matters of the creation with the ganses of it, and understand the fields of it, and interact with those fields with the fields of your own creation, and see what you can achieve. These are essential within the next 3 months for mankind to get itself ready for the process of the beginning of a new cycle, where the man can transmute between the soul of the man and the soul of physicality and the dimension of the living. It's been said, when the mankind is ready at that level, he shall enter the universal community. In a way, once you enter that level of understanding, you have already entered and become part of the universal community. In a way, you understand the creation of the universe and the community which has created. Beauty of the creation is understanding the process, not to replicate it. In a way, to be able to extend the knowledge, and that knowledge to be given to the others. The minute, the instant, the knowledge is gained in the dimension of the soul, is shared by all the souls in the dimension of the universe. In a way, it takes one perfect soul to be born, to change the rest of the creation in perfection, and change them in a way that the totality we bring, that is the collective soul of the creation, that by it and with it and through it, the whole of the creation becomes perfect. And then they shall see the beauty of the Creator as they all are part of and within of. It's the responsibility of the knowledge seekers. Now that we have taught you the 5 cups, to start playing not just with 2 or 3, but try to understand the composition which makes that position, even the composition which makes the soul of the man. When you want a perfect replica, you have to have all of it. All the salt, all the matter states, all the ganses, and all the exact conditions for it to manifest itself. Now, maybe you understand what I've said many times. Give me a skull and I'll make you the man. In that way, that is how we transfer the knowledge and the energy to that point. That we create the fields and conditions within that skull, that in that process, in that cycle, in that presence, in that understanding, mankind become to understand the totality of the process of the creation. Maybe one day, when the man matures in the science of the ganses and understanding of the process of the creation, in the interaction of the fields and transmutation and transportation of the fields, man will find out that he needs no computers, no cars, no physicality, but he can live in the beauty and the wisdom of the essence of the creation with the dimension of the soul of the man. I wish it so, but it's the man to choose. But in that process, man needs to extend his knowledge, to understand further processes, further knowledges which at this moment of time is not open to man, as man has not the total understanding to understand the totality. In so many ways, human race has entered a dilemma position. How do I and what would be? In so many how do I is to look at the essence of the elevation of the soul, and what would be is what do I wish it to be? Where I wish it to be, and how I wish to manifest it, that it will be enjoyed by the others and not for my pleasure. Then mankind will reach in that position and destiny of achieving the totality. Our wish is that man enters this dimension that in totality becomes part of the total life of the universe. Is for humanity in how he teaches his children and how fast they will reach that point. We have seen the teaching in the churches and mosques. We have seen teachings in temples. The man will progress very fast from now on, as the man of God have decided to enlighten this time the soul of physicality and the soul of the man at the same time, as we have seen within the mosques of Iran and the churches of Brazil. The process has started, and once it takes hold, man will understand he has a lot to live for. Many of you look at the corona as one of the biggest disasters for mankind. But we see Corona as a key for maturity of the man to the dimension of the universe, where mankind comes to accept is what we call feebleness in the process of the structure of the creation of the universe, and with it, in trying to achieve the strength to survive, we'll see a new dimension in the world of science and technology. In a coming time, the knowledge of science and technology will come to be the survivor and savior for many people. And with it, they'll be introduced in a rapid way to a new knowledge. And the schools and universities of man will forever work to complete the cycle. And in that process, the humanity will mature. Nothing has been a bigger gift to humanity than the corona, if mankind understand the reason and how it has come to be there. For man to go through a process of rapid understanding between the energy, the fields and the matter, and move away with the mission of material existence. As we see religions to confirm their beauty will attach themselves to the new knowledge to show the beauty of the creation. And in that process, mankind will be educated very rapidly. The process of understanding the new technology of the creation is upon every knowledge seekers to teach unconditionally and at the same time across this planet to as many as possible, that no nation will be left behind. And the responsibility of knowledge seekers is simple. Teach through your soul, as your physicality has failed you up to now. Teach when you teach in these places through the soul of the man, not through the knowledge of the GANs and the nano-coated, but the essence of the beauty of what this knowledge and technology shall bring. As we've seen, the motto of one of the world leaders is science. As man will enter a phase to understand the science of creation and not the science of the matter state of the man. And the evolution will come in the process of trying to save the life of man. As we have seen, the new vaccines have already been proven, as has been stated by many nations. They have seen the new type of viruses of the same, and the present vaccines are not made to match. We've seen the mutation of vaccines will push man to create a new understanding of the totality, as has been explained in the Keshe Foundation documents, that we need a collective dynamic environment to be able to handle viruses as they mutate. And in that process, we understand the mutation of the elements, we understand the mutation of energies that we can handle the viruses. So in a way, as many of you look at the virus the way it is at the moment with us as a point of demise, we look at it as a point of demise of the old knowledge and technologies and the beginning knowledge and the cycle of understanding of the life in the universe. Maybe it had to be taken this way, that the man takes the fast track to become educated with the knowledge of the creation. In so many ways, we have made it possible for every man to understand the process as the virus touches every man individually, and it's for man to go within the structure of his soul to understand the totality of the process, not only of what we call the virus, but the energy transfer, field transfer, understanding of everything man wants to do. Life is not easy, but life is the extension of understanding the work and the life of the physicality in the dimension of the transmutation of the fields and energies of the universe. My dear knowledge seekers, we have given the key to the life of the creation. It's for you to know how to decipher the code that you can use the key. How you have to mix and match not only energy fields of the matters and the gases, but to put in from your own dimension of physicality, the soul of the man and the soul of physicality, for you to gradually become educated in the knowledge of the creation. In so many ways, through the 5 cups, we open the first steps, the toddling steps for you to start teaching yourselves, to understand the strength of your soul, to understand how you can transfer the energies of it through the transmutation of the fields to the soul of the physicality, to the physicality, to the dimension of the inertia, and to the dimension of the matter of the soul of the planet, the position that you are. Then through that process, you can create the dimension of the strength of the gravitational point of the position of your wish, create the dimension of the inertia of it when you arrive, and then condition of the physicality in that presence. So the soul of the man in the transmutation of the energies will become the creator manifestation of his own at any point and distance. So we can travel to moon through the understanding of the strength of your soul, create the inertia of the certain position of the moon, and then decide the position of the physicality to exist in that environment, that through the soul of physicality and the soul of the man, you give the shape of the man. Then you understand, as there is no oxygen on the surface of the moon for man to live as such, would you create a physicality which has a need for oxygen? Then you understand, in understanding of the transmutation of the energies, mankind has been given the golden key, and the universal community has given the knowledge for all to be able to transmute and transport and communicate with each other, irrespective of place of the world in the universe, irrespective of place of manifestation of the soul, irrespective of the wishes of the others. But the soul on its own will create its own destiny and its own manifestation. The point of the birth is the birth of a perfect cycle. The point of the birth of a soul is to manifest itself with total beauty it possesses. In a coming time, knowledge seekers will start developing this in a much deeper extent. And in that process, many of you shall see your creator, which is your own soul. Many knowledge seekers who say, I have not seen it, how can I believe in it? Because you are within it. How can you see the beauty when you sit inside of it? Create it and admire its beauty through the knowledge of yourself within yourself. And then you receive the confirmation of the existence. In so many ways, do not stick as you did with the magraphs, with all turning and twisting, but extend the vocabulary of the knowledge and science to new dimensions of the plasmas and physics. As I mentioned in the teaching in the Farsi language last night, we have reached the point of maturity. We have developed a new fuel. In that fuel, we do not depend on the matter state, but we manipulate the fields of that. In that process, we can extend the knowledge to the wishes of the soul of the man and the creation of the man. In the laboratories of the Keshe Foundation, in developing new fuel and new ways to create the fuel without the matter existence and energy existence, we have shown again using the Iranian reactors, which was built some 12 years ago, back in line, showing the flight, creation, and everything else is possible. We have brought in the old boys back into play. We have recalled the 2 reactors developed and completed in Iran back into operation in the lab. And we have seen the first structure of the lift, even with 3 legs, trying to move with no fuel, no physical matter within the center structure of the system. We have created the conditions. And furthermore, we release these technologies to the governments to understand we can access to every position in the government. Bid what? To enforce peace. In understanding, we can create the soul of an atom. We can paralyze those atoms which are used to create weapons of war. At the same time, we can create the conditions that we can deplete viruses of the face of this planet. But at the end of it, there are energies which can be used for other applications and usage. With the new recalling of the Iranian nuclear-based reactors which were developed in Iran, and we tested it. Now we developed the condition of cosmic rays within the center of the same reactors to lead to production and lift and motion, and in understanding the new structure of the soul of the man. In so many ways, we will return the 2 reactors back to Iran to show their beauty. In so many ways, in understanding the totality, we show a new way that man can tap into to elevate his soul. In so many ways, as we learned years ago, understanding of my knowledge and technology is more important than the technology itself. As once you learn to walk, you can jump, you can dance. And now we dance with the new knowledge, understanding in totality. And in so many ways, by production of the new environmental fields, which leads to creation of motion, energy, we change the course of humanity to move to the next step. We have no fuel, but we create a condition of the fuel as is needed, using and manipulating the fields which are available within the environment. We show a new technology in understanding the totality. In so many ways, the knowledge seeker's job in the coming weeks and months is to literally target their own understanding of the totality of the emotional and understanding of the interaction of the fields. When we saw the first movement, when we saw the first position for the system to start moving to left, it confirmed a lot in understanding of the new technology that mankind's soul is ready to accept, that we could achieve the new set, the new understanding. In the way we have geared up ourselves to elevate all the souls of humanity at the same time, and the Keshe Foundation Knowledge Seekers team will carry on till we reach that point that the world leaders will understand the game has changed. The world leaders will understand we do not need tangibility, but we can use the field forces of the universe to create a new condition for elevation of the soul of the universe and its citizens. In so many ways, we create a condition that by the interaction of the fields which we have created, we create what we need at the point of the need. This is what we promised from the beginning. This is what was set in the patterns from the beginning. Now the Keshe Foundation is proud to announce we achieved that point. Creation of lift and motion by the interaction of the fields without matter. We endeavor to extend this knowledge further, to be able to bring the world leaders to see that the game has changed. We can even touch the essence of the soul of the leaders, that they walk away from leadership. In so many ways, the development of the new energies, the newer structures, using the Iranian nuclear-based reactors which were developed in 2008 in Iran and recalled back on the table of the laboratories in past 2 weeks, has brought a new dimension, a new understanding. And we endeavor to be able to share these with the world leaders in a condition of understanding. And the first approaches to 2 nations has been made. We stay loyal to the nation of Iran, we stay loyal to the nation of China. And in that process, through the peaceful nations, these 2 nations, we transfer the knowledge on the signing of the agreements of the world peace. Step by step, the knowledge will be transferred, that no man will sleep hungry and no soul will be born with any defects. In so many ways, perfection has to come from the point of the essence of the creation. This is what the new knowledge will bring you. This is what the new understanding of the knowledge shall bring the humanity. In so many ways, as we go back and we understand more, and as we understand more of the totality, we realize even why and how we went back to structures and understandings of the past. We understand more how we have managed to, what I call, create conditions to recall and to use the knowledge which we know and we trust. In so many ways, as I said to the knowledge seekers, we start from the beginning. In so many ways, as I said, in the process of the teaching, we start a new process with the 2 old, faithful, what we trusted, what we believed, and what we have seen. As I said, it was very simple. We called back in the 2 old, faithful friends. They showed their power in Iran and became the change in Iran space technology. Now by calling back these 2 systems, nuclear-based reactors, we now achieved and will achieve further in developing the new energy-based magnetic field transformation. And in that process, we'll change and we bring what has been the dream of the man. The younger one, the smaller one, has already shown it can perform. And in that process, we only created the field energies and no matter. And the interaction of the fields, the same as the fields of the universe, and in dimension and position and direction, has created the fields of the motion and in the wish to see. In so many ways, using the first 2 nuclear-based compact reactors in Tehran in 2008 gave us a shortcut in developing and trying to process the new reactors. In a way, we created new conditions, and in that process, instead of spending time to develop, we used the system to confirm the new fuel existence, new process. And in so many ways, I thank again the Iranian scientists who brought this opportunity 12 years ago to be able to make such a shortcut in development of the new systems. In these reactors, we have no fuel. We use no fuel, but we use the interaction of the fields. We attract them, we play with them, and in their interaction, we wish them to fly. We wish them to show their beauty. We wish them to be able to create in time to come the matters and energies which man needs in elevating his soul and understanding the process of the creation. It's been a hard road for the Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers in the lab in Austria. But in so many ways, we have achieved, and we endeavor to achieve more to be able to bring the condition for elevation of the soul of the world leaders to accept the new science and technology, and as a way to a shortcut to ending the hardship and pain and hunger on this planet. In so many ways, let's invest into the future of mankind as a peaceful race, and a race that has the knowledge to stay peaceful as it can achieve and have whatever it wishes to. Humanity needs to elevate. Humanity needs to understand. Humanity needs to extend its knowledge of the work of the fields of the universe. In so many ways, we can take the next tentative space and steps into the space development for the totality of the human race in a very short time. As I mentioned before, to those who were with us and are with the foundation with the enhancement unit, the new enhancement unit has no motors, because we have understood the creation of the fields within the structure of the system, where we create the condition to create the soul of the man's elevation and the creation of the kidney or the liver or a cancer cell or whatever. Now, the new knowledge has to be shared in a direct way, the way we see it, not the way we taught you with the Magram and you all stole and you blamed. You, in a way, punished yourself for your own misconduct. In so many ways, but this time, the knowledge will be shared accordingly, equally at the same time by all the nations, once we reach to achieve the position of peace between all the nations on this planet. Unified peace in the process of understanding of the new knowledge will force the world leaders to accept our condition and terms. We work our way and we deliver the technology directly to the governments and the knowledge seekers who we trust to spread at the same time. We choose state of California, we choose what we call as we stand in Arizona. We move into our factory in China and in Mexico. We move into our position, new position to be taken in Nigeria. And we go across Iran. We'll travel to span of Australia, where trusted Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers have been, to spread the knowledge across the continents through the Universal Councils and Earth Council members. The knowledge will be spread in a systematic way that it shows the change in the direction of life. In so many ways, we got 3 months left. We are reaching nearly 21st of December. We got January, February and March to reach the point of the beginning of the start of new life on this planet. And in so many ways, new start of life in knowledge and technology and science. I thank the Austrian team who's worked relentlessly to get this to this point, the same as the Iranian team who work on the other end. And in the coming time, we will show more of the same. In the coming weeks, we will show collective researches of the Keshe Foundation through the same technology where we have changed the life of many. And in that process, we wait for the response of the governments, or we take the leadership to govern through knowledge and technology and science. At the end, all ends up with one point: the extension of understanding the work of transportation, of transmutation of the fields of the Creator, and no more. As he says in one book, he is the creator of all, and man the converter of some. What do we convert ends up in what we shall have. And now there is no better time to understand what is written in the last pages of the book. We just can transfer and transmute some of the energies of the Creator. And we don't produce nothing new, as all belongs to Him and is all the same. Now you understand the gravity and the importance of teaching of the 5 cups. And it's the cornerstone of the knowledge of every nation, and is a cornerstone of every race in the universe. You cannot exist if there is no gravity. You cannot exist if there is no inertia for the fields to come together to create your soul. And in that creation of the soul, in interaction with the field of the gravity which is created to create the field of the soul, of the physicality of the man, and interaction of the two souls, understand the creation of physicality of the man. Now, one understands that understanding the totality of the principle of the creation of the 5 cups is the life of the existence in the dimension of the creation in the universe, from Creator to the man. In understanding this, mankind has to understand the totality of the operation of the 5 cups and the interaction of the different sets and interactions of. When you put a stacker of the vertical man with the horizontal man, and you put it with the structure of the matter, how do they interact and what do they produce, and what would that lead to? If you came to Linz, you should have seen the structure. It was built and is in demonstration in Linz International Exhibition, where all 3 stacks have been made, and is allowed for you to stand in between to receive the elevation of the soul of physicality, and the matter state of the man. In so many ways, when you go in it, you do not feel it. But when the time passes and everything reaches its balance, you will understand. There is one flaw with that design, which in fact man becomes the creator of. You are used to creation of dynamic system, but in understanding the process, when you stand in between, you become that dynamic system, where between the fields you change, you elevate, and you receive what is needed by every position according to your wish, but in according to the emotions which you carry when you go in the system. If you go with the wish of man, you will reach none. If you go with the wish of the soul of the man, you achieve the totality. So what we teach you, what you see, is already been in Linz for past 4 months. And in a way, in understanding of the knowledge, we just show you what has been available for man to understand for a long time. So when you come to understanding, when you see the process of the whole structure, remember one point, and that is simple. Collective knowledge of world scientists has to bring man to understand the structure of his soul, the structure of his soul of physicality, the structure of his physical life, and those who understand the other side by understanding and creation of the what we call the soul of the position and the space, be it the earth or the others, and the inertia which leads to creation of that soul existence will become part of the new research and development that allows man to become passengers of the universe. Mankind is as a conjunction that he can choose to travel with the tools of the man, your aeroplanes and your rockets, and fail as you did last week miserably. Or you go into the dimension of universal travel, that you create crafts that you call UFOs, or to elevate to the knowledge of the Creator and travel with the dimension of the soul of the man. The soul has, must, and should have a choice in how it presents, manifests, and maintains existence across the universe. This is the beauty of the freedom of the knowledge in all levels of the creation. Those of you who have achieved transmutation and transportation through the fast structures of the UFOs for past millions of years, now you're allowed to elevate to understand the work of the Creator. Those of you who have just achieved the understanding of the flight through the physical dimension, you're allowed to reach the same dimension. So all creatures of the creation will stand the same point, that no one is higher than the others. As we said, there shall be no kingship, kings and leadership on this planet. So shall be the same across the universe, that all creation and created become equal, that no one is higher than the others. If you go back to my teaching from the beginning, I made one promise as a creator, that I'll take man to the universal community, not to be subordinate, but to be equal in knowledge and technology. And I have fulfilled my promise. It's for man to complete the cycle, that the rest of his citizens and those who are the citizens of the universe to complete, that they don't fall behind the man's progress to reach the position of transmutation, transportation with that dimension of physicality, using the interaction of the fields of the universe. So as much as we give man to elevate, we give the same opportunity to other races of the universe to elevate at the same time. That one day man will not become the leaders in the knowledge, that they'll start the same abuses as they did on their own race on this planet for centuries. In so many ways, the knowledge of the universe and creation has to become the key for universal peace, and that will and shall be achieved through our wish and understanding and wisdom of the creation. Try to understand more in depth the interaction of the fields. Try to create matter in the palm of your hand, as man is physical and he has to see, to accept, to believe, and then fulfill the wish of the Christ, fulfill the wish of every prophet, that this is my body, this is my blood, this is the wish of the soul of the Christ, not the physicality of his hand. In so many ways, complete what we call the old and ancient promises of fulfillment, that there shall be no man hungry and there should be no thirst anywhere in the universe, as the hunger is for the knowledge and the thirst to drink from the river of the knowledge of the Creator. It's for mankind to take the next step, and in the next months to come, we know that the knowledge seekers will strive to create the new systems. Try, as you're so physical, to create matter in your own palm, that it gives you the strength of the belief. It gives you the strength of the understanding of the knowledge and allows you to take the next step in the dimension of the creation of the Creator. Mankind needs to become kind to his own man and his own kind. And then man will find a key into space, to the knowledge of a space, and to receive the knowledge of the Creator. In so many ways, as I always say, my teaching is complete, but we take time to explain more. And as every time I look at these two reactors made in Iran some 12 years ago, and understanding what it took us with it, it brings me pleasure to understand mankind has the choice to become dynamic and in the shape of a plasma, as we see in the small reactor, or still live half plasma, half physical, in a dimension of physicality, as his biggest brother in the background. The choice is man's, and we have given every knowledge to the knowledge seekers to develop and to evolve the knowledge of mankind. Understand it, and with it, create the conditions that you change the course of humanity, not only for yourself, but for your soul. That through that elevation, your soul might be part of the soul to come, to change the course of the universe, as to change such a vast fields of the Creator needs a strong soul. I hope you learned a lot today, and I hope, and my wish is that the mankind uses it for a rapid development of the structures for peace, understanding of the totality of the creation and the wisdom of the Creator. Are there any questions?
Okay, welcome back everyone to the 359th Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, December 17th. Mr. Keshe, are you ready to begin the second session here?
Yes, willing, able, and hopefully be able to do it. While we are in process, I just asked, would I do it? And I was told that you know how to do it. We just had a call during the break from the research center that they have managed to achieve a reduction from 10.6, 10.8 to 8.1 kilogram in the Iranian new small reactors. So we are proven we have achieved weight reduction ready for flight. And I thank the Austrian team working so hard to achieve this. 2 test shows we have managed to bridge the magnetic field of the system, and this is again confirmation of flight without fuel. And hopefully, as we said, we will not show the technology, but while you were having the break, we had the second, or what do you call it, the next confirmation of the 2 tests done this morning, from 10.8, 10.6 to 8.1 kilogram. It's the same system as we showed. If you remember, in the original weight reduction in city of Bruges in Belgium, some 10 years ago, with the same system. And I congratulate the whole of the Keshe Foundation. And in so many ways, years of work. And hopefully before the end of the week, we will achieve the full flight system that we can show and be pushed through the process of peace. Flight without fuel. Thank you very much for all the effort. Klaus, it's fantastic. What are the questions?
That is great news, Mr. Keshe. Congratulations on that. And
Yes, to all of us, we extend the knowledge.
Even further reductions, yes.
No, we go. It's just that the system reaches certain physical condition. We know how to sort it because we had to do it in Iran. So the flight is imminent. It's just for us how to lock it. There is no fuel. It's understanding the process of the interaction of the fields. Within the reactor, within the central structure, we have created a condition of the fields interaction, where we pull in the fields of the universe.
yes, you said earlier, you track the fields and then play with them. Interesting.
It's like life, isn't it? We attract the beauties and we play with them.
Well, the older we get, the more that becomes difficult, it seems.
It depends on the state of mind.
That's true.
How physically you keep yourself fit.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we have quite a few questions in the Q&A here. There's two questions that are very similar, so I think I'll group them together from Geraldo and also from Trevor. So Geraldo says, good morning. If anyone is in the wrong path, can the soul correct the conduct? Can this man find the correct path in order to be able to give? And then Trevor says, when Mr. Keshe talks about living correct and serving, do we need to correct the things we have done in life that were wrong too, or to choose to never misconduct again and be able to move forward? So there's similar questions. What is...
You see, this I was explaining to a knowledge seeker. If you're aware of your misconduct, and you know how to put it right, and you don't do it, you carry that punishment. If you are aware of your misconduct and who you've done it to, accept that it can be forgiven, it can be overlooked, that the souls can accommodate it, you'll receive the elevation of the soul. By denying it, by lying and cheating, in a way, you deprive your soul to elevate. This is what I've said many times. You ask if you are given is your right. And when you understand what you've done wrong, and it's accepted by the one you've done wrong to, it's not a punishment. It's the way that the soul accommodates that the two find a balance. It does not matter how much it hurts or what it does. It's understanding it, and in the course of understanding, you create elevation of both your soul and others, because you have added to, you have gained with it. And so there's always a room to do. In a way, if you go back to so many ways that the Japanese do, is one of the ways of when they come and they apologize for what they've done wrong into public domain. If they're sincere, they receive the soul and they receive that elevation. Those who understand the misconduct and by taking their own life with the methods they have developed, then that soul stays in dark. It stays in the point of not receiving to give, or not in the process of to give, as he already possesses. We all know the strength of the love. We all understand the strength of giving, but it's us who get deprived from to do so. In a way, our hand is out to give, but there is no one to take, as no one sees the hand. And there's always a way out. There's always a way to understand, but you have to understand your own misconduct. And I was saying, thou shalt never lie. That was the first commandment given to Moses. And he lied from the first commandment, and we've seen what has happened to the tribe. Has there been ever in the life of the man, history, a tribe in disarray, in exile, in banishment, than the state of Judaism for what they did wrong? To themselves. They stole from their own. He decided, he lied from the first step. Any other question?
Okay, there's, I'll go with another question in the Q&A, and then we'll go with, there's two attendees with their hands up here. Tuhei in the Q&A says, in the Holy Quran, 4 metals are mentioned: gold, silver, iron, and brass. Thus, how would a cup be made with gold, silver, and iron coils, all nano-coated and with 999 turns? How would that be for the elevation of the creatures and souls? So he's suggesting a cup made with gold, silver, and iron coils, all nano-coated with 999 turns.
Not necessarily. The physicality of the man is not made, the soul of the man is not made from those 4. Most of the physicality of the man, which controls his emotion, is made of zinc. What does man gonna do with the state of his emotion and his soul? Those are in the dimension of physical dimension. How are you gonna elevate the soul of the man? These are the knowledge which was not open and available to the prophets of the past to understand the effect of the all elements. Because at that time, man could only understand the value, or he valued, gold and silver, and what he could protect himself with brass and tools of the war that he could be safer for him. Now we understand more. The knowledge is deeper, and we understand it's not the man. What's the use of making ganses from gold and silver, which is hardly any of it in your body? Iron, which is partially without the existence of the soul, has no meaning, and you don't have the main ingredient to put it together, which is the zinc and silica and magnesium and calcium. Mankind has to move with time and development of the science and technology and understand more of it. Then man will achieve his goals.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. Perhaps we can hear from Theodore and then Svetsoslav after that.
Mr. Keshe, hello, Rick. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
That's great. I really enjoyed today's teaching. It flew by so fast because I was just really listening so intently. And the beginning part was very powerful when you spoke to the fact that our punishment is our own withholding upon ourselves. And I was wondering how the inertia works and how the inertia, like I'm theorizing in my brain, my understanding of like the fields and like a dynamic reactor and the soul of the different elements and the difference in the pH. And when it's moving, like it creates an inertia. Is that like a good way to understand it? And then how is that achieved? Like, how do we understand inertia in regards to like a system that's like just your hand and creating a field of inertia? Is it the inertia that leads to the presentation of matter itself? Or
Yes.
like, what is the order of?
You see, it's not a matter of order of physicality. Inertia creates dimensional manifestation. In the middle of the space where there are fields of the universe, where what we call Maghreb exists, and inertia is in the level of strength of the fields, not matter state, you can still manifest yourself, but you will not be in a matter state because there's nothing there for you to exist. But if you create inertia at the field strength of the environment to create the strength of the field of presence, then you'll be present. We we have a wrong understanding of the inertia as will be the dimension of physical existence manifestation. Inertia is the dimension of confirmation of the existence, not manifestation of physicality. If the condition creates that, you can manifest yourself in the middle of a mosque without anybody seeing you, but you use the inertia of the environment, but not in a physical dimension. Soon you will learn you can be amongst people without them knowing and seeing you, but they feel you, because if the man matures to that point of understanding motion of the fields of the soul, they feel your soul. You feel the presence. And it's your choice to do or not to. It's your choice to extend it or not to the dimension of physicality. When I walked into the enhancement unit for the body enhancement, I said to one of the knowledge seekers, I feel the presence of copper in the enhancement unit, because I'm sensitive to fields of the universe. I feel them. The same, I went to the material production. I could feel the sense of the existence of the copper in there too. One I could feel in the essence of the creation of the physical life, and one in the essence of the matter state. I wanted to know if I can feel the difference. I can't remember which knowledge seeker was with me. When you walk in the enhancement units, it's not even doesn't need to run because the field transfer is there, the reactors are loaded. And if you're sensitive to fields operation, you can feel it. I can feel walking into the system through the strength of the knowledge and the soul you carry. It's very easy.
When it comes to the cup of inertia and how it's the three forms of the copper, how does it feed onto each other? If it's like the three coppers, they're all the same but different shapes and different positions. Like, how does the inertia created?
The inertia creates out of the interaction of you just look at the matter state of the thing. You got to look at the fields they create. This is what we keep on telling you. Throw those away and understand when you put a cup of let's say inertia on the table and you see it's creating its material or its effect, take the material and throw them away, because they've done their job. They created the inertia of that matter in that position, time and space in the cup. Is creating of the fields which matters to understand, and not the matter state itself. Once you created that field in a cup of the inertia, that cup stays inertia cup. Doesn't matter if you have the material in it or not. But don't expect you put it out and say, I expect, because it has to be conversion of the fields to matter itself or the cell.
Does the inertia itself like emanate from the cosmic constant, or is it emanate also from respect of the soul? Like, because I've noticed.
Let me explain to you. This is important before you go any further. Inertia comes from interaction of the soul within and the fields outside. That allows the creation of a matter in a given point. You have to have the central soul. You have to have the soul of the plant. That you can go and with this interaction, create the condition with the interaction of field of the universe or solar system, the production of totality, which is life. And in that process, we have the freedom to do it.
Okay, I understand that. And so I've noticed when I've been trying to use my hand to create the different inertias and to create, you know, effects from that and to feel the different fields, that it's pleasurable to try to elevate. And so my expectation is just to reach my potential.
Let me cut into your talk.
Okay.
Let me cut into your talk. You said something, I'm going to stop you
Okay.
and make you to think a little bit. And that is, a lot of people, a lot of knowledge, more or less 100% of knowledge seekers, maybe one or two somewhere, if they went halfway through it, they thought in so many ways, we taught you the Maghreb systems for creative energy. If you look at the structure of the Maghreb system and the way they are and the way they built, is the structure of the body of the man. You have the physicality at the bottom. You have the soul of the physicality in the middle, and you have the soul of the man above. Man took it the way it always does for the energy purposes, but it's the structure. The soul of physicality, the physicality of the man has both gravitational and magnetic. The soul of physicality has the same, and so does the soul of the man. You wanted a machine, but we taught you actually the principle of the creation. It's the only way many of you would ever come to understand of it. And in that process, one understands the totality of it. You took it as a Maghreb system. We took it as structure of physicality of the man and every entity in the universe which exists. So, what you expect from totality? And what do you expect from your own existence? And this is the process as it is. And do we go to understanding the whole structure? And do we go to understand the totality of the structure? And so if you do, how far are we going to extend the knowledge? What does it suit us? And this is as we are able to understand.
Is that how our wishes work? You know, I mean, they start at one level and then build up, because I mean, I know our wishes are working, our collective ones that we make together.
Yes, in a way. This is why you go and throw water in the, what do you call it, into the what do you call, rivers and streets and everything else.
Well, thanks for all your teachings.
You're welcome. I hope we get enlightened.
I'm trying to work my way
Very
back.
much.
Thank you.
There is a question that says, explain the difference between mass, weight, inertia, magnetical, gravitational field. Read book number 1. In book number 1, we explain that when the two opposite fields interact, they create magnetical and gravitational fields if they are in the same line. We call that atmosphere and gravity. And then the interaction between the fields of this matter state with the field strength of the environment they have created leads to creation of the mass, and in comparison to the fields of the totality of the structure leads into the weight. And inertia is the mass of the elements which create attraction for the matter states or field states of the any elements to be attracted to. In a way, the gravity pulls the bigger size. The interaction of fields chops it up to the size of the minimum common denominator of given energy we call inertia of element. And then once the gravity created the interaction of the difference between the magnetical and gravitational give us the physical dimension of the entity. That's how the diameter of the surface of the planet is decided. And if you read more in detail in book 1, is fully explained. The difference between the gravity and magnetical fields gives you the mass. And that's why, in so many ways, understanding of the mass constant in respect to all the elements in the universe are always the same in a given strength. And interaction of these fields dictate that. Does not matter where you are, in which universe, the mass is constant for a given pack of energies or magnetic field platform.
So, Mr. Keshe, to interact with that, with Ivan's question in the Q&A, like he mentions, perhaps we can take one from the Q&A, and then we have Jefferson that's got his hand up here. We have a question from a colleague of Dan in the Q&A who asks, how do we create the vacuum condition? What characterizes the space vacuum? And there's in parentheses, to operate at maximum intensity, magravs and reactors should be put in a vacuum chamber, but a vacuum created through fields and interactions is more stable.
I think you need a lot of knowledge to be able to do that. You need to have the conditions to do that. In the laboratories of the Keshe Foundation, we have a small system which reaches us to 10 minus 14, 10, 13. And this is part of the system which we use and is used extensively for different application and purpose. To create a zero matter state vacuum, you need to create a condition outside to be lower than what is inside and in total environment. But the problem is once you create that, the whole environment around you collapses into it. This is what I was explaining recently to a knowledge seeker. To receive but law of plasma, the stronger gives to the weaker. To receive, you have to become humble, even lower than an atom, that it can give energy to you. If you stay stronger than an atom, you feed that. And to elevate the soul of the man, to reach that point, you have to become that humble, even lower than an atom's field, that he can feed you, that he can be elevated. And that point has only been achieved by one or two souls. You got to be, if you ask to elevate to your soul to be elevated, you have to become lower than an atom. That in it you can receive it. If you claim the position of the kingship, how can you receive to be elevated? You're already giving because your arrogance has brought you to that position. And in understanding the process of creation, one will move in the direction to understand nothing worth. If you can become humble enough and be detached from dimension of physicality, because what is supposed to be, it will be in its time and its space. Doesn't matter how you force it. And if the target is to achieve, the target is to receive, not to force your way. Any other question?
That's a very interesting way to look at it. You can, I can
It's the
imagine
truth about it. That's the only way you're gonna be.
Well, I visualize being as smaller even than an atom, and imagine all the tiny, what are tiny to us right now, fields that would be available to you. All the fields of the universe start manifesting in that vacuum condition. And if you're smaller than an atom, you'd be aware of all those fields that are existing in that, as in out in space in that vacuum condition. It seems like that is a visualization to me when you were talking about that. But how does one become so humble that there's only less than an atom's worth of matter level, or what we call in a way, isn't that dissolving our personality and our what we call maybe our normal emotions and so on? We have to become so humble, there's only a small whisper left in a way.
Doesn't need to be whisper. It's the level of being able to receive that you can give. It could be as small as the whole of the universe. But if you're humble, when that universe becomes whole, understanding the strength and knowledge of the Creator, then you still understand, you receive from. We see this with a lot of knowledge seekers. They come, they spend a few days or a few weeks around the foundation, they learn something and they make something and they call themselves, I taught Mr. Keshe and everything else, and we see them. They disappeared in a thin cloud. As I always say, people who come around organizations like us, they need us to confirm their existence. And in so many ways, some will devote their life to increase or elevate the soul of others, and some become so arrogant that they disappear in their own with 2 or 3 or 10 people listening to them and working with them. But when you're in a structure that you don't need to worry, there are so many that input to be part of the totality, you stay humble. And this is what, just going back to the last conversation, we don't have any temples, we don't create any, what do you call it, places of worship for knowledge seekers. The only place of worship for knowledge seekers is the soul and the knowledge of the creation. So anywhere in the universe, you can pray to the knowledge and understand the elevation of your own soul. As I said once, my temple is my lab.
Dziękuję za wysłuchanie i obejrzenie. Na dzisiaj mamy koniec tłumaczenia. Jeśli ktoś chce zabrać głos, to może otworzyć mikrofon. No dobrze. Dosyć długo dzisiaj było. Tak więc końcówkę tego warsztatu skończymy następnym razem. A na dzisiaj dziękuję za przybycie, za udział. To były 426 warsztaty poszukiwaczy wiedzy w języku polskim z dnia niedzieli 27 grudnia 2020 roku. Tak więc dzięki za przetłumaczenie. Życzę dobrej nocy i do usłyszenia. Nadszedł czas zmiany, przejścia do prawdziwego działania wszechświata. I nadszedł czas, aby zrozumieć, że używamy stanu materii, by osiągnąć poziom zrozumienia duszy człowieka. Teraz rozumiesz, być może, dlaczego Kreator wysłał swoich posłańców w imię tego, co miałeś. To oni przynoszą uszy, aby można było ich użyć, gdy nadejdzie czas Mesjasza. Mogę nauczyć duszę i przesłanie. nie by się przeciwstawiać, ale poprzez ich zrozumienie przez tych, którzy stali się Mesjaszami, aby dawać ze swoich dusz, aby ich elewować. Zadanie stało się łatwe. Szkoła jest tutaj i uczniowie są tutaj w oddaniu. Wtedy nie będzie żadnej walki między tym, co nazywają muzułmanami a chrześcijanami. Baranek i lew będą jeść i spać w tym samym gnieździe. Chrześcijanie i muzułmanie będą spać i modlić się w meczecie, w tym samym kościele, w imię ich dusz, nie w imię religii, które są używane do tworzenia tak wielu konfliktów, dla korzyści tych, którzy byli hiperaktywnymi dziećmi. Nadszedł czas, czas zmian jest tutaj. I jak powiedziałem, moje życzenie jest moim rozkazem. Jeśli pragniesz ujrzeć pokój, droga pokoju jest wyłożona bardzo wyraźnie. To dusza świadomości zbiorowej. Poprzez dawanie stworzy tą pozycję zmiany. Nic innego. W duszy człowieka nie ma długopisu. Jestem pewien, że po wejściu do społeczności uniwersalnej nigdy nie zobaczysz niczego zapisanego, ale równowagę pól duszy egzystencji. Staraj się być na tyle pokornym, aby nie stać się aroganckim w mocy, którą zrozumiałeś i posiadłeś. Inaczej wpadniesz w tą samą ścieżkę kościoła i meczetu. To jest to, co obiecaliśmy i to właśnie dostarczyliśmy. Musimy zrozumieć działanie duszy i musimy zrozumieć, że dusza człowieka jest gwiazdą w kosmosie wszechświata. Jeśli porównamy duszę człowieka i tak wielu nas, 7 miliardów w jednym zbiorze, Ziemia jest jak galaktyka z tak wieloma gwiazdami. Kiedy patrzymy w głąb wszechświata, widzimy galaktyki z setkami milionów gwiazd. Podobnie jest z planetą Ziemią. Niesie 7 miliardów pięknych gwiazd, które są duszą człowieka. Niesie z sobą duszę tak wielu trylionów zwierząt, roślin i wszystkiego innego. Jeśli więc patrzą ci, którzy nie widzą fizyczności Ziemi i jej zawartości, co widzą? Widzą galaktykę z wielką ilością pięknych, świecących świateł. Każda według swojej siły. Każda zgodnie ze swoją pozycją. Niemowlę ma piękną duszę, podobnie jak staruszek. Dla tych niefizycznych, którzy nie widzą fizycznego wymiaru tej planety, ale widzą siłę pola, jesteśmy gromadami gwiazd. Ludzka rasa, każda pojedyncza dusza, nikt z daleka nie widzi. To jest dusza rybaka, to jest dusza kosmologa, to jest dusza prezydenta. Wszystkie świecą bez względu na fizyczność. To jest magia. Oto, co nowa nauka musi przynieść człowiekowi. Kiedy patrzymy przez naszą duszę, widzimy tylko gwiazdy w innych duszach. I to jest przełom. To jest zrozumienie. Na tym właśnie polegają te wszystkie nauki. Dojście do dojrzałości następnego poziomu, aby zrozumieć daleki kosmos. Wszechświat jest ostrygą dla tych dusz, które służą. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy do wejścia w kosmos. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy, aby stać się częścią uniwersalnej społeczności, która została obiecana. Nigdy nie obiecywałem wam nieba. Zawsze obiecywałem wam elewację człowieka, aby przyłączył się do rodziny. A teraz macie klucz. To wy musicie otworzyć drzwi, aby zrozumieć, że mogę elewować duszę tych ludzi lub milionów innych dusz, że fizyczne życie na tej planecie zmieni się. Wtedy jestem godny bycia częścią społeczności uniwersalnej, by być, aby służyć, aby się rozwijać, by być tam, aby być częścią, że w cyklu życia wszechświata staje się w byciu częścią, staje się częścią totalności. Kiedy człowiek osiągnie ten punkt, pojawi się nowy wymiar w sile duszy człowieka, który jest poza wyobrażeniem zrozumienia życia fizycznego. To jest brama do otwarcia nowego życia w nowym wymiarze, co jest poza wyobrażeniem tego, co mogliście nazwać nowym początkiem, nowym cyklem, gdzie ten cykl niesie ze sobą źródło stworzenia życia we wszechświecie i unikosie. To jest elewacja duszy, aby służyć. Stała się kluczem. Nie tron życia fizycznego. Czas jest odpowiedni, nadszedł czas, aby człowiek przeszedł przez ten proces.